Mornings with Matt and Bob. It's a full house today. Friday morning house party. We've got all the interns in. Chewy, of course. Chewy, you got quiet. You stay out of the way.
Yeah. No, I'm having fun.
No, I appreciate it. I was catching up with the bud. Of course, Dr. Hot Dog Sawyer's in here as well, and we're joined by incredible comic. Now I realize that sounds backhanded, like Sawyer isn't, but he's not. Chad Daniels is also in here. Who? Do you feel like you've hit stardom? Do you get to feel like that yet? Because for me, it feels like I've watched you grow in this. You were, there was a group of us that all kind of were running around together and knew each other back in the day. And I don't even know what you would call the name, but you and Isaac and Evans and a bunch of people that all knew each other, right? Yep. And you were a bit of a leader, like you were a little bit ahead of all of us. And then you have. Your career, I think a lot of people, I admire it because you stuck to your guns. You're like, no, I'm not going to go to L.A. I'm going to live here with my kids in the great white north, and I'm going to try to run my career out of here. And you've done that, and you got smart, too. Early on, you were like, I'm going to make specials. I'm just going to put them out. I don't need somebody else to do this for me.
Well, I just wanted to have a back catalog, so I thought to myself, if I ever have any fans, then they'll have all these hours to go back and watch afterwards. And kind of see everything progress. And now, when I go on the road, I brought my son, Isaac, to San Francisco with me, and this woman came out and she goes, what does your son think about you talking about him on stage? And I go, why don't you ask him? And she lost her mind. It was like a Beatles moment.
Oh, because she realized suddenly that was Isaac, and he's literally, you've raised him on stage. You've been telling stories about him since he was a tiny kid.
Yeah, so people feel like my kids have grown up in their house if they listen. And she picked him up and spun him around. I mean, it was wild. And so... I just like that. That's why I did that, because I wanted to get everything out. I didn't want to sit on 1 hour until fans started showing up. I just wanted to get the hour out, write a new one, and keep doing it. And so there'd be a back catalog of things. People could kind of, become fans retroactively.
Sawyer told me this morning, when you recorded this last one, did you record 2 at the same time?
I did. Yeah, in December 3rd in Madison, Wisconsin, I recorded. So the early show was 1 hour. And then we changed the set, I changed clothes, and then I came out and did a completely different hour. So there's one take a piece. I refused to do, what are they called, pickups afterwards. Because I'm not going to come out.
Pickups, for people who don't know, they literally will hold the same audience. They'll have you come out, retell a joke, and tell the audience, please hit that laughter really big right here, because you want to fix that joke or whatever.
And I have a very hard time. For as much as I'm willing to cry and do all that stuff, I have a very hard time knowing that many people would have that information that, well, he needed a second chance. So I
you have a hard time admitting to it how bad the first take was.
Right. And so not admitting. I'd leave it in.
I need you to know that it was perfect. I don't need to do that again. It was perfect.
No, so the closing joke I tell in mixed reviews that's on YouTube right now for free. I screwed up where the flight was from and to. And so...
I would have never guessed.
You thought that was all in there?
I thought, the way that you spin it during the joke, too, is just like you make a joke out of messing up the joke then, in that sense.
Yeah, but that's the kind of thing, I didn't want to go, all right, let me start over and let me redo this.
Right.
Because the joke is, I was on a flight, which, by the way, it doesn't matter where the flight originated at all.
But just matters to you in your head because now you're...
telling the story, right? So I go, it was supposed to be from Salt Lake City to San Jose, but I said Sacramento to San Jose, and that's like a 45-minute drive, so you'd never fly that. And so then I just made fun of myself for quite a while and just left it all in there because, I don't know. I feel like sometimes when you watch a polished special, you just go, no way.
Yeah.
Or if you know somebody recorded 4 shows to get one special and there's still a joke that sucks, you're like, you didn't get that in 4 tries? Boo.
I think one of the greatest specials out there still is that Hedberg special that he did for Comedy Central that fell so flat that later on came out without. Did you know what I'm talking about? It came out dry without the fixed audio.
Yeah, he ate it.
This is a guy that people now look at as one of the upper echelon of comedians.
Like,
and I think
the word genius gets thrown around.
And there's no better way to show people what comedy is really like than to have a guy who's recording for Comedy Central for an audience who doesn't really know who he is, and they don't like him. They don't like him.
He sits down on the stairs at the end, and that is not because it's going great. It is not.
He's exhausted.
It's not a sign off.
He is exhausted
you guys
from
love
doing
me
the
so
show.
much. I'm going to sit down and be comfortable.
Yeah.
He hated them and sat down.
And then when they put it out and edited it. It came out for a bit, and it was all fixed in post.
Right.
And then someone had the brilliant idea of let's just put it out dry so that people could see what really happened.
Yeah.
And it is chef's kiss. Love it.
Yeah,
Joe DeRosa did that too. Joe DeRosa put out a double album where he originally was supposed to record a special, and the audience was drunk and terrible. And he decided, I'm putting this out in my album. I'm going to put out. Then he went and recorded it again a few weeks later, and he's like, I think I'm going to use Tonight as my album because you guys have been great. But then he decided, I'm going to put it out as a double album so you can hear the exact same material and see how much, when you guys go, I thought I was helping by yelling out, to show you how little you're helping when you're screaming out in the audience.
I record all my shows on my phone just so I can go back and listen the next morning. And there have been times, Milwaukee is the first time I ever did it. They were such a bad crowd. I pulled the setup from the night before on my phone, and I played the exact same joke and just held it to the microphone. And I was like, do you see what the audience is supposed to do during these words? I mean, same town, same club, same words. Ridiculous.
Why are you all so bad at being an audience?
Yeah, it's brutal.
You're horrendous. What else? What are you doing now? Like now it's wintertime. Do you try to stay on the road as much as possible? Because you live in BFE, Minnesota.
Well, not anymore. So
really?
Kelsey moved from Washington to Minnesota to live with me, and we live in Minneapolis now.
Okay.
This is the first time. Well, still, I've never lived in Minneapolis before.
I get that, but for us here in Texas, it's the same as if you lived in I mean,
restaurants are open past 9, Matthew.
Right, and you have a big mall. We're happy for you. And you get to go to the Taste of Minnesota in the summertime.
I can't wait.
It's going to be wonderful.
I can't wait.
But it's still freezing cold.
Well, there's no snow on the ground, and right now it's in the 40s, so it's pretty decent.
Oh, that sounds great.
It's for us, it's great.
Except that the light comes in at a low angle, and even at noon, your body casts a shadow that's 55 feet long.
It is weird because you go, how come I can't see when I'm driving, but it's still cold?
Because it's dark. It's dark at noon, and it's really frustrating. I was watching that Michigan-Ohio State game last weekend, and it's noon there. And they all look like sundials, and it all looks. I was like, oh, the sun is setting at noon because the angle is so low. It's miserable up there, and you have nothing to do but drink.
It is miserable.
Sounds fun.
I don't go on the road.
Sorry, just Sawyer. I don't know if you noticed, but Sawyer brought in a breakfast beer. Sawyer's doing that really fun thing when you're a comic in your 20s and you don't care yet.
Oh, you'll start to care.
Unemployed.
You'll start to care.
You'll start to care.
Just give it time. But we bought a house. We bought a house that we really like. It's it's our dream house, right? We made a list of. I told her because she's never owned a home before, and so I go. She lived in LA for a long time, and then she moved back to take care of her mom in Washington, so she had an apartment. And I go, make a list, but make it unrealistic, right? I mean, really, if you're writing something down and you go, oh, this would never happen, write it down anyways, because that way we're going to look for a long time to find what we want.
Right.
And then we looked about 60 houses online.
Wow.
4 physical showings we went to. And on the 4th one, we couldn't believe it. We were like, oh,
perfect.
This is everything.
Sunken grotto tub.
Yes, you know.
Sex swing in the basement.
Absolutely all of it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And so we bought it, and now we don't want to leave. So even though it's cold, it's fantastic to be home, and I'm getting older, so being on the road, you get excited. You go on the road.
I've gone twice.
Have you been excited? You're like, oh,
yeah,
I get to go
to an airport.
Oh, someone's gonna take care of me. I don't have to make my bed. Someone else does it. It's great. And then you get to be my age, and you're like, I just don't want to leave my stuff.
Yeah.
So I work 2 weekends out of the month, and then I'm home, and it's been pretty good. But I like winter. I'm built for winter, right? She's not. You're not. You couldn't handle it.
Hey, what are you trying to say about me
I'm
right
just
now?
saying.
Your tears will freeze.
Yeah, you can't. That's how I warm my lips. Sometimes I just start crying.
I really feel like you just called me small.
No, it's a different kind of.
Oh,
cold.
I hate it. It's brutal. I can't stand it.
Yeah, it's a different kind of cold.
My wife's from Milwaukee, and I go up there occasionally in winter, and I'm like, this is the worst.
Was she at my show where no one was laughing?
She was the leader of it all.
Unbelievable.
She was the leader of it all.
Unbelievable.
It's all my fault. Let's mix.